Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to Hallowed Pre-Hallowed Princess. I hope you guys are excited for today's video. Today's video is called Slaughterhouse. Okay, so The Slaughterhouse is a scary true story about a place in Marlborough, New Jersey that is rumored to be the site of a horrible murderer. Okay. Years ago, the slaughterhouse was part of a huge farm, which was owned by a man named Mr. Allen. The farm was over 500 acres and had been in his family for generations. The state government decided to build a psychiatric hospital in the area, and they chose Mr. Allen's farm as the location where they would build. The only problem was that Mr. Allen refused to sell his land. This did not stop the government, and they seized the land, forcing the poor farmer off of his own property. This essentially robbed the man of his livelihood, because without his land, he was unemployed. In 1933, construction of the Marlborough Sanitarium was completed. It was a huge mental hospital containing many buildings, over 1,300 mental patients and staff. The old farm buildings were abandoned and left to fall into ruin. Having lost everything he owned, Mr. Allen began to lose his mind. He was often spotted wandering aimlessly around the hospital grounds, muttering to himself. He kept trying to get back into his old house and began stalking and threatening the hospital staff. He got crazier and crazier, and his behavior became worse and worse. Eventually, Mr. Allen was arrested. Eventually, Mr. Allen was arrested and evaluated. He was found to be insane, and the government had him committed to a mental hospital. The Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital, ironically, he was locked away in the same mental hospital that had taken his land and driven him crazy in the first place. The farmer spent many years at the asylum, keeping pretty much to himself, because he had been a farmer. Mr. Allen was allowed to do odd jobs around the hospital grounds, cutting grass, tending to plants, and so on. One day he escaped and was never seen or heard from again. A massive manhunt ensued, but after several weeks of searching, there was still no sign of him. After his disappearance, the hospital staff began hearing mysterious noises at night. The noises sounded animals squealing, and they were coming from the broken down remains of the old slaughterhouse. The squeals were so loud that they disturbed the mental patients, and many inmates had to be restrained or sedated at night to keep them from totally freaking out. The hospital staff hired a security guard to patrol the grounds. One night, the guard was doing his rounds when he found messages written in animal blood on the wall of the old slaughterhouse. Animal blood, what? Did I almost say animal bread? I'm so sorry. Okay, the messages we read, see you at, okay, I don't know. See you at, so there's not really words up there. Well, whatever it is, it sounds scary. The guard returned to the hospital and reported what he had found. Then he went back out on his rounds. By morning, when the hospital had failed to receive any further reports from the security guard, some of the staff went out to check the slaughterhouse. They called out the security guard's name, but there was no answer. Then they decided to open the huge steel door. Then they decided to open the huge steel door of the slaughterhouse meat freezer. When they laid eyes on the grisly spectacle, whatever, they lay within. Some of them fled in terror, and others threw up on the spot. Hanging from a hook was the blood-soaked body of the security guard, and was still wearing his uniform, but he had been decapitated. On his shoulders, someone had placed his severed head of a pig. On his shoulders, someone had replaced the severed head of a pig. Oh, what? Ew. The murderer was never caught, but everybody in the area suspected that it was Mr. Allen. The crazy farmer was never heard from again. But according to the legend, his ghost still roams the grounds in search of trespassers. Some say that he sits in the attic of the old slaughterhouse, staring out over his land through a hole in the crumbling roof, but who live close to the old farm still hear the faint sound of squealing animals coming from the ruins of the slaughterhouse. In 1998, I was 6 years old in 1998. The mental hospital was investigated and closed down by the authorities due to patient abuse. Sometimes around 2004, the slaughterhouse was demolished, and all that remains is rubble. No, you should try not to visit the site of the old slaughterhouse because the area is patrolled by security and police. Trespassers are prosecuted if caught. Another reason not to go there is that you don't want to run into old Farmer Allen. You could end up hanging headless from a meat hook. That is so creepy. Okay, let me know if you guys heard that story. That's going to be it for today's video. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become Your Majesty and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made. And you're the king of my heart and the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.